Welcome to Bandits Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. We're continuing the side quest, if you will, to the Necromancer's Tower by the Fangs of Peebluff. They have very luckily stumbled upon a small herd of Pegasi who have flown them to the Necromancer's Tower. Okay, since it's going to be kind of a pain to be showing you on this map where everybody is, what I'll likely do is just scan it or take a picture of it and throw it up onto the video while we're going through it. But basically, we're landing on the tower, which is in the lower right-hand side. We're going to land right on top, and there's a trap door there. So the tower specifically says that it is the front door is guarded by a gargoyle, but of course we're avoiding that, so we don't need to worry about that, which is very fortunate for us. But what we will do is check to see if there's any goblins on the roof. Now, these goblins seem to be taking over the tower. Goblins are a little bit kind of chaotic, obviously. They're maybe not the most organized, so we're going to say that there's not automatically going to be a guard on the roof. What we're going to say is that there's a chance there is. So I'm going to give it a 1 or 2 on a d6. It means there's some goblins on the roof. Basically, what would normally be a monster in the room. 1. Okay. There are. Okay, so I've determined that whenever there's goblins, that there's going to be 2 to 12. All right, so we got 6 goblins on the roof. There are 6 goblins on the roof as we come flying in on our Pegasi, and what we're going to do is... there's a pretty good chance that, we're coming in from above and we're going to dive bomb them. Goblins are not exactly, I'm going to roll both. The purple die will be the goblins. The clear die will be us. Actually, we're not going to be surprised. We can see them. So I'm going to roll to see if the goblins are surprised and if we get a round of fire. Basically, everybody but the one magic user has missile weapons, so we might just kind of fly over them and do a pass. Okay, yeah, they're not surprised. So... let's see, do they have missile weapons? What's the chances that goblins have spears or bows? We're going to say, again, they're on the roof, right? There's a pretty good chance. So I'll say 50-50 chance. If the purple die is higher, they have bows as well. Short bows, that is. Okay, they do. So we have 6 goblins on the roof with short bows. They're not surprised. And we're coming in on the Pegasi. So what we're going to do is we're going to, missile fire is basically simultaneous. I'll roll all the characters first, and then I'll roll the goblins. So again, we're using basically the chainmail combat system, revamped in my own version here, which will eventually be put out. And we're just going to go character by character and see what we get. So goblins are Lightfoot, I believe. Let me just check that. They defend as Lightfoot. And here I had a question about this. I'm using basically the troop combat for this, just for these encounters. I may eventually use they're Lightfoot. They attack as heavy, but they're Lightfoot, but they're going to attack with short bows, so that's what's going to matter. Okay, so, it's during the day, so they're going to be -1 on attacks. They're going to attack as short bow, but they defend as Lightfoot. So, let's do our attacks against them first. So, my halfling, right here, has a short bow. He has a +1 for his dexterity, and they're in short range, so he has a total of 3 dice, because he's 1. If we look at the chart, and this is probably going to be hard to see, 1 die per man, so he fights as 1 man, +1, 6 hits. So he's going to roll 1 die for his bow, 1 die for being a halfling, basically, because he's always in short range, and 1 die because he's +1 for the dex. So he's going to roll 3 dice. He can add 1 to one of them, and any 6s are kills. Okay, he got 2 5s and a 4. He'll add 1 to one of the 5s, and that will kill one of the goblins. Okay. Next, this magic user is staying out of range. The dwarf has a heavy crossbow. Now, remember, this troop combat is very abstracted. Obviously, if he's using a heavy crossbow, he's not going to be able to shoot a bunch of times. But the way it works is... he gets 2 dice, no, he's Lightfoot, 2 dice per man with 4 through 6 hitting. So he fights as 1 man +1. He's in short range, so he gets 1 extra die. So he is also going to get 3 dice. I do not believe he has a bonus for his dexterity. Let me just check that. He does not. He's rolling 3 dice. He can add 1 to one of them, and he has anything 4 through 6 will be a kill. So he may actually take out multiple goblins with 1 shot. Not with 2 1s, you won't. Okay, so he takes out 1 more goblin. He can only shoot every other round, so he's going to do that and then pull away. The elf now has a longbow. Longbow against Lightfoot, 1 die per man, 4 through 6 hits. She's much like the halfling. She basically has 3 dice because she has a high dex and because the distance. So she's rolling 3 dice, but any 4 through 6s hit. She's a magic user, so she can't add anything to the dice. Wow, okay. Two kills. Okay, so that's going to leave us with only 2 goblins alive at the end of this round. Remember, they all still get to attack before they go. So what I'm going to do is, since there's 3 of them diving down, there's 6 goblins. I'm going to have 2 goblins attack each person, just to make it easy. So goblins are attacking with a short bow. Now, first of all, against the... And again, they're shooting against the Pegasi, who I said were heavy horse, I believe. Check that again. Yeah, heavy horse. Okay. So, they don't have the meta knowledge. They've never fought Pegasi before, so they don't know they should team up. They're just going to shoot 2 on each person. So they are light. Sorry. So they are short bow against heavy horse. 1 die per 4 men. Okay, so which means that there's only 2 on each character, which means that they just can't do it. So they fire their arrows up in the air and nothing happens. Then arrows rain down. It's all happening simultaneously. There's only 2 left alive. There's a very good chance that these guys are going to run. So I'm going to roll their morale. Their morale is 6. So if I roll, and in Chainmail, it's over. So I roll under a 6, they stay. So it's the opposite of EX. Oh, they stay. Apparently they think they're not going to be able to do anything. And there's only 2 of them. So honestly, they actually can't hurt anybody. So we'll just end the combat. They wipe out the rest of the goblins. So 6 goblins have been slain. And they land on the roof. Take my little chart here and mark that down. Yeah, they probably shouldn't be sitting on the roof, actually, in daylight. So that's probably not a good move for the goblins. But you know what? We have a quick little combat. We land on the roof. There's a trap door here. Obviously, it's not locked from the inside, because if it was, then the goblins wouldn't be able to come in and out. So we're just going to say the trap door is open. And we're going to move down and explore. Okay, so below this, it moves down into a room. So we're going to roll a d6 to see how this... Again, I'm just going to do this as if it was an empty dungeon that I'm just occupying as we go. So I'm going to roll to see what's in the room. 1. more something. So here I'm going to use my chart, though. I'm not just going to make it automatically goblins. 6. Oh, the Goblin King. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, well, coming down into a combat. So they probably heard the fight up top, although this Goblin King is actually, they're the Goblin King because they're possessed by the Necromancer's robe. So basically, they're a little out of it. So I'm going to say they can still be surprised, but it'll be on only a 1, not a 1 or a 2. The party's not going to be surprised because they're going to, be ready to attack whatever's down there, knowing that there's probably people there. So I'm looking up the Goblin King now. Goblins. Goblin King fights as a hobgoblin. Okay. Oh, and it says he'll be surrounded by a bunch of guards. But since he's not really a Goblin King and he's actually just a regular guy that's been possessed by the, why not? We'll do it. So 5 to 30 goblins potentially could be down here. That's a d6 times 5, right? 4. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20. There's 20 goblins plus the Goblin King down in this room. These guys are tougher than the regular goblins. They're fighting as hobgoblins, it looks like. Oh yeah, hobgoblins are tough because they attack as armored foot. The only problem with it is that they're basically in this room, and they don't have I'm going to say they don't have bows, because why would they have bows inside the room? So they're going to have spears or something. So even though they attack as armored foot, they're not going to be able to shoot through the trapdoor, which is where the party is. So they defend as heavy foot. And yeah, let's do this. The Goblin King also, basically they're the same. So there's 21 of these guys down there. 21. Here, I'm going to make a little note. Put a little note here. 21. Heavy foot. Armored foot. All right, so what we're going to do is we need to know if they're surprised. So they're only going to be surprised on a 1. And if they're not surprised, we'll figure out the rest of the movement as we go. Okay, they're not surprised. So they heard the commotion up top, the party getting established. Obviously, they reloaded their crossbow, all that other stuff. The party, knows there's going to be something down there. So they rip open the thing with their bows ready, and they see down there these guys who are ready for them as well with spears, we'll say. Now, what we're going to do now is roll initiative. What's going to matter here is if anybody wants to move. Some of the hobgoblins might try to charge up to fight since they don't have missile weapons, true missile weapons. And that means that if they win initiative, that's not going to be great. If they lose initiative, then the party can like close the thing. They can do any number of things. But if they win initiative, then the hobgoblins are going to start moving their way up and we'll have to go into a melee. So that's not ideal. Okay, so let's do initiative. Hobgoblins, 4. I'm calling them hobgoblins, but they're goblins. And party 6. Okay, good. The party gets initiative. The party is going to move forward with their crossbows and shoot some of the hobgoblins as they're charging the thing. Now, again, both movements happen, but the reason why I'm doing it this way is because, remember, they're in a tower, so they're going to have to climb up. So what's going to happen is the 2 armored fighters here, the halfling and the dwarf, are going to block the passage with their bows and shoot down, partially to kill some of them down there, but also partially to keep the magic users out of melee, and also because it's a ladder, only so many of the goblins are going to be able to be in melee. We'll say probably 2, right? So that's going to give them a chance to cast a spell, which is exactly what they're going to do. So let's do this. As they charge forward, the dwarf and the halfling are going to fire into the room. Now he's shooting against Heavyfoot, which means actually his bow is not useful. So the halfling doesn't do anything. And actually I got to mark off. He shot twice now. The dwarf also will shoot. We're going to take a look. I guess I should be showing this instead of just telling you, because obviously I know this because I've been playing it a lot. But basically, a short bow against Heavyfoot is 1 die per 2 men. So you can't actually break through armor with a short bow unless you're a little more of an advanced fighter. So that's not going to happen. But the heavy crossbow against Heavyfoot is 2 dice per man, 5 or 6 hits. And you can add 1 to one of the dice. So he's going to roll 2 dice. With a 4 and a 3, he takes out 1 goblin. Okay. That was really just to block the way. They charge up, and there'll be 2 on the thing that are going to get to attack them. They are armored foot against armored foot, because like I said, the hobgoblins fight as armored foot, even though they have spears, because they're just ferocious. So armored foot against armored foot is 1 die per man, 6 hits. So they're going to roll a die against the halfling, miss, and a die against the dwarf, miss. So they charge up with their spears and jam them into the way to try to, to knock these guys out of the way. In the back, our magic user, I'm going to actually have the elf do it because she also has a bow. She's going to cast the sleep spell. All right, all these guys down here are 1 hit die. So we're going to look up the sleep spell. We want this combat to be as quick as possible because we don't want to attract noise. So sometimes people are like, hold on to your spells, but the reality is that sometimes you just got to use them. Now, the party is kind of in a bit of a predicament because they didn't walk in the front door, which means they can't just like run back out when their spells are out. They came in on the roof, so they've got to get back out of here. But sleep spell affects from 2 to 16 first level types, which is basically everybody down there is a first level type. So I'm going to roll 2 8-siders. 1. Oh my God. I rolled 2 1s. All right, so 2 guys drop. That is not good. Leaving a bunch of them down there. Now they're coming up the ladder, and this is going to be noisy and bad. So now, again, in the front rank, the hobgoblins are these guys are going to switch to their melee weapons. The hobgoblins are going to attack against the halfling. Miss. Dwarf. Miss. These guys are going to swing back. Again, he's a sword, which is Heavyfoot. They're Heavyfoot. So Heavyfoot versus Heavyfoot. If we look here, 1 die per man, 6 hits. So that's the same for both of them because he's using a battle axe. So I'm just going to roll both their dice together, and they each can add 1 to it. So basically, they need to get a 6, but they get +1. Nah, so they don't kill anybody either. And then the second magic user is going to cast their sleep spell because really, again, I hate to waste all the spells at the beginning, but they got no. Oh my God, he rolled a 1 again. Maybe I shouldn't roll it over there. And a 5, so 6. So 6 more go down. So we got a total of 5 and 7. No, 8. Okay. All right, so 8 of them down, +1 dead. Oof, this is going to be a slog. Okay, so the dwarf and halfling are just going to continue to fight. The elf has a 2-handed sword, but they're definitely not going to want to get into this fight. So because they're not wearing any armor. So here we go. Again, it's simultaneous. I'm just rolling the bad guys first because it's easier. So miss. Ooh. The dwarf gets hit. Now, he has a save. If he gets a 1, he survives. 2. All right, dwarf's dead. That is bad news. The dwarf drops. He rolls back and dies. That is very unfortunate at this moment. Because of that, the elf's going to have to step forward. Otherwise, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So they basically step back. This could be very short for these guys. Adventurers. The life is short. And the elf's going to take a swing. She actually has an two-hander sword. So she's going to get to... against heavy foot, she's going to be able to roll 1 die with a 5 or 6 hitting. So basically they're the same because the... Oh, the dwarf still would have got to hit. So that's the halfling. He kills 1. So does the dwarf before he dies. But the elf does not as she steps forward. So 2 more are down. So that's a total of 10. Okay, that's half of them because there's 21 of them. I'm going to roll a morale now on the goblins, even though they took out one of them. Oh, they're fighting because I guess the king is there. Okay, well, we're moving into the next round. Now we're in trouble because the goblins, even though they're hobgoblins, right, so they're tough, against this elf, they have a lot of going on. So what they're going to do is the party's going to hope to win initiative. In the back, this magic user has been lighting fire to one of his oils. They're going to retreat back and they're going to throw oil into the breach to try to stop them from coming up. So, initiative, hobgoblins, party. Oh, okay. All right. Well, the hobgoblins actually can't move, so it doesn't mean that actually works well because they basically have to stay where they are because the party's in the way. Then the party retreats back. Then we go into missile fire. The elf switches to her bow. The magic user is going to throw oil. And the way we're going to do this is it's flaming oil. So that actually only works as Lightfoot. But the thing is everybody defends at Lightfoot against fire. So Lightfoot versus Lightfoot. Basically a 6 hits. Oh my god, all right. So he throws it and it just like splatters and doesn't light up anything. That's terrible. The elf, on the other hand, has a longbow. And she is shooting against heavy foot. 1 die per man, 5 or 6 hits. And she has 3 dice. This is going to be very bad if she doesn't do... Oh, wow. Okay, good. 2 more down. So they charge up now, and now there's a bunch of them up there. Okay, this is where the party's about to get whooped. There is a total of 9 left. And they're basically going to charge up and try to melee the party. Now, again, they can't do it yet because they have already moved. So the party's hoping. Now the party's hoping that they wouldn't. Well, I guess it doesn't matter at this point because when they start charging towards them, the party's going to get 1 more missile volley before terrible things can happen. So let's see what happens. Oil. Come on, magic user. You got this. 4. Okay, that's a miss, so it's going to land. I'm going to roll this chart to see where it lands. The bottom of this chart over here. The bottom is towards the magic user. 1. Okay, he throws it long. Okay, so it splashes behind, but of course he's throwing it at the front rank. So we'll say there's a chance it'll hit a D4 of them. 3. All right. 3 of them get hit and go down. All right, the elf gets her 3 dice. And again, this is happening before they get to them. So these guys that die will be out of the melee. This is why the missile fire is so important. Wow, nice. Okay, unfortunately she can't add 1 to that, but because she has a longbow, that's 3 kills. So by the time they run up to the party, there's literally only 3 left. They have spears. This is where it can get tough. They're going to basically go after, there's 3 of them, right? So here we go, 1 against each. A 6 will kill the halfling. Missed. Lightfoot, so a 5 or 6 will kill them. That was a 5, I'm going to reroll that because it didn't land on the thing, but also I think I'm wrong. I think it's a 4 through 6. Heavy foot against Lightfoot, no, 5 or 6, okay. All right, no, they attack his armored foot. 4 through 6, here we go, against the magic user. Miss. Against the elf. Miss. Oh my god. All right. There's only 2 goblins left. The party is going to You know, there's only 2 left. I'm going to roll their morale one more time. They might actually run at this point. I'm going to say if they get, it's dropped down to 5 now. 4, they're staying. Okay. One more round of combat. Let's see if they can make it. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to roll first to see if anybody in the party dies. No. 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 Oh my God, 3 ones in a row. Okay, let's see. Can they take out 3 of these guys in one hit? He gets 1 die per man. He gets a +1. Nope. He can't fight, actually. So he's actually going to retreat back out of the fight. Basically standing behind the halfling. The elf is going to come in with armored foot. So she gets, again, 5 or 6 kills. No, okay. Again, this is now they step back. You know what? I'm going to take an opportunity now. Which maybe isn't a great time to do it, but to go into what's called man-to-man combat. So I've talked a little bit about this before, but this is exactly when we want to use it. There's literally 1 person against each of them. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at this and go, all right, let's go weapon against armor. So I'll just show you how this works. So I'm going to take the halfling first. He's using a sword, and they're using spears. So the halfling sword is a 4 weapon speed. A spear is an 8. So the halfling's going to automatically go first because he has a shorter weapon. The magic user is using a dagger, which again is shorter than a spear. He's also going to go first. And in addition to that, so now the elf on the other hand is using a 2-hander. The 2-hander sword is longer. So the goblin's going to go first against the magic user. So let's look at it this way and let's walk through one at a time. Now what's actually going to happen is it's going to go it goes by weapon length, right? So the dagger is going to go absolutely first. He's going to go first, and actually because he is weapon class 1 against 8, that's 7 difference. So if we look at our chart, defender may go first or parry. If the parry is successful, they get 1 counter blow. So he's not wearing any armor, and they're attacking with a spear, which needs an 8 to hit him. If he parries, they'll need a 10 to hit him on 2d6. That's pretty good, so he's going to parry. So he's the first one to go. The sword, because it's 4 shorter, I think can parry, same deal. Yep, same deal. He's not, because he's in really good armor, and it's going to be hard for them to hit him. He's in plate, and a spear against plate needs an 11 right off the bat. So he's going to go first. Their armor class is 6. So they're basically leather armor. They don't have shields, so they're 7. It says 6 on the thing, but they're using spears. So their armor class is here against a sword. He needs an 8. He gets +1 because he is a fighter, man +1. Okay, that's 11. So he then does 1d6 damage. 6. They can't have more than 6 hit points, so he kills his goblin. Okay. Then the next thing to happen is the goblins go. I'm going to do this goblin first. This goblin is we're only going to roll 2d6. They have to subtract 2 from it, and if they miss because of the parry, the magic user will get a shot. Oh, they do miss because of it, because that's a 9. If they had rolled an 8, normally they would hit, a 10 would miss. Boom. So that means the magic user gets a free shot. Dagger, he needs a 7 or better. 10. All right, he hits him. Damage, come on, magic user. 2. Okay, let's see how many hit points this thing had. 1. Okay, kills his goblin as well. Now, finally, the spear goblin against the 2-handed sword. She's only wearing regular no armor, so she might get hurt here. No, 5 misses. She comes in with a 2-handed sword against 7, so she got a 6 or better to hit him. She misses. Okay, so normally, this is a bummer, 2 1s is a critical fail in this system. She smashes her sword against the ground and breaks it. So she actually loses her 2-hander, which is kind of a bummer. She can probably use it as a regular sword, maybe, I don't know. But right now, she just lost her 2-handed sword as we go into the next round of combat. Both of these guys can go before the goblin, and they're going to, because they want to try to kill this goblin before it hurts their friend. She's going to reach down and pick up the spear from one of the dead goblins, so they're going to go simultaneously. So I'm going to do the dagger first. Actually, the magic user is going to do the same thing. He's not taking a chance. Actually, no, his is dead. So he's not getting attacked anyways, only she is. So he's going after that goblin. He needs a 7. He rolls a 10 for 2 points of damage. The goblin had 3 hit points, so he has 1 left. He needs an 8 and he gets +1. That's a 9. So so basically her sword smashes on the ground. She staggers back to grab a spear to defend herself the next round, and before anything can happen, her 2 companions come up and gut the goblin from behind, and it falls dead on the ground. Now, she is fine because they missed, right? If she had lost hit points, we'd deal with that in a second, but they're all dead. So, unfortunately, they lost their dwarf friend, but they are trapped on the top of the tower. They've cast all their spells at this point, and yeah, they're kind of in a tough spot here. If you've been enjoying these, please do consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and you can check the show notes below. You can find a link to my Discord server if you want to join up over there and join the conversation as it would be, and a link to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channels. In any case, I'll talk to you soon.